Hello, this is John Paval, once again with your weekly roundup. Hold on one second. This is one of those days when if something can go wrong, it will. Here we are to bring you up to date on all of the best live streams of the performing arts, which we could find for you this week. And we have a full cupboard full of all sorts of contemporary and classic performances for you this week. All classical music. We don't have any operas or ballet or theater this week, but we're going to keep working on that as the fall season opens up. There should be more and more of that. So let's get right to what is going on. We start out on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, August 27th, 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, 1 in the morning in Europe, and 9 in the morning, Wednesday morning, down under in Australia, or thereabouts. Composers Concordance is live streaming free of charge on their Facebook Live page a concert called Tango Prism with violinist Machiko Ozawa, who has a very interesting history, and composer and pianist and producer Jeffryes. The Composers Concordance. This is its 41st season. They are devoted to promoting new composers. They have over 120 composers and 50 events planned for this new year, September through June. They've been around since 1984. They were part of this wave in the 80s and 90s of these new groups promoting chamber music, but also looking to promote and commission new works of chamber music, not just rely on Haydn and Mozart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they have a Naxos distributed recording label called Composers Concordance Records. And we will give you the link to, in the comment section, we'll give you the link not only to their Facebook Live page so you can enjoy this, but also to their website with the calendar of the 24-25 season. Machiko Ozawa went to Juilliard, went to the Guildhall School of Music, went to Tokyo National University of the Arts, Tokyo Gaidai. She was, interestingly enough, a concertmaster at the Orquesta Sinfonica Sinaloa de las Artes, the Sinaloa Symphony Orchestra. Sinaloa is one of the provinces of Mexico. Mazatlan is located in Sinaloa. She also has developed, she's also a composer. She developed something called tap dance violin, in which she tap dances while she's playing the violin. She has some albums. She has an album out in Japan called Vertical Voyage, which is all her own compositions. She's been a violinist on a lot of tango music recordings, and this is a tango concert, including one with Placido Domingo and some with her own group, Urban Tango Trios. And Jay Jeffryes is a pianist and a producer and a composer too. So they're going to be doing a series of works. They're going to be doing some, and they don't give us all the names. They're doing some works by Jay Jeffryes. They're doing some works by an Argentine composer, contemporary of Piazzolla, Angel e la Sala, and also they'll be doing some Astor Piazzolla. They'll be doing some pieces by Machiko Ozawa herself, and they'll be doing the world premiere of something called Ladies First Tango No. 2 by Jean Pritzker, who is one of the leaders of Composers Concordance. That's free of charge. I think we've given you the time and the link. And that's on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, another string quartet. This is at Johns Hopkins at a place called the Peabody Convocation, which will be having other live streams in this coming year, which we will be telling you about too. In fact, I may do a separate live stream possibly tomorrow evening at our usual 6 o'clock time, just to talk to you about these different groups that we're finding, like these first two. Anyway, it's the Cavani String Quartet, along with Yang Gao, a pianist, and They'll be doing Charles Washington's Midnight Child, Beethoven's String Quartet number 13 in B flat major, Opus 130, for those of you keeping track of the opus numbers, and Brahms's Rhapsody in E flat major, Opus 110. The Cavani String Quartet, it's based in Cleveland, Ohio, formed as part of this, again, this 80s and 90s movement in 1984. And by 1988, they had become the quartet in residence at the Cleveland Institute of Music, which is nothing to shake a stick at. The Washington Post refers to their music as completely engrossing, powerful, and elegant. They've appeared at a lot of music festivals in their 40 years of existence. Interlaken, Viewspeaker in Amsterdam, Pro Quartet in France. So this is something to tune into. Again, it's free of charge. We'll give you the link to it. We'll also give you a link so you can look up more information about the Cavani String Quartet, because I can't give you everything in all of these in the reasonable time we have to present them. But it's at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday, so late lunch. 10:30 in the morning on the West Coast, and 7:30 in the evening for you European followers here in Europe. So we encourage you to tune that in. Yes, I'll let you look up the rest about Cavani, which is really interesting, because now we move on to Thursday. Thursday, again, the Chopin Institute, once again, a pianist, Yulianna Avdeeva, and another string quartet, the Belcea Quartet. We will give you the link to the Belcea Quartet as well. This is coming to you from Europe, from this side of the water, so it will be at 8:30 in the evening European time, 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast. It's free of charge on YouTube, and they have an open comment section, the Chopin Institute, for all of their concerts as part of their Chopin and His Europe International Music Festival, which is ongoing now until September 9th. I was tuned in on Sunday night. They did a live stream of fantastic Polish opera, full-scale, 4-movement, 3.5-hour Polish opera called The Haunted Manor. It was terrific. It was a patriotic romantic comedy, which the Russians shut down after only 3 performances back in 1865. And it was great. And there were a lot of us in the comment section and chit-chatting, because it's like you get to whisper during the concert without bothering anybody sitting around you. So that's pretty cool. So I would encourage you to tune in. Look for Access Arts Live in the comment section if you do so. They'll be doing 2 pieces. They'll be doing Beethoven's String Quartet in C-sharp minor and Julius Zarembski's Piano Quintet in G minor. Now, we'll give you the link to the Belcea Quartet. I won't dwell on them. I want to talk to you about this composer who you probably have never heard of before, Julius Zarembski. Julius Zarembski was a Pole who was born and died in Żytomir, a little town which is now in Ukraine, but formerly, and in his time, it had been in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Polish Kingdom. Chunks of what is now modern-day Ukraine were. And he was born there in 1854, and he died there at the very early age of 31 in 1885. He died of tuberculosis. I mean, this is the classic 19th century story of the profoundly gifted artist who dies young because of tuberculosis. When he was only 16, he had finished his earliest studies, and he moved to Vienna to study composition. 2 years later, he's on to St. Petersburg for another 3 years. So by now he's 21 years old, and then he moves to Rome to study with Franz Liszt. And Liszt became his sponsor. Liszt would later orchestrate his Danse Galicienne in 1881. Liszt went on tour with him in concerts around Europe, promoted his work. And from 1875 to 1881, this guy was just rising to glory. And the climax of his career, perhaps, was this very eclectic moment. In 1878, the French were holding their grand exhibition in Paris. They were always doing this, holding these world exhibitions in this time. And there was a guy named Edouard Mongeau, who had invented, a French guy who had invented a duo keyboarded piano, a piano with 2 keyboards. This is not unusual with organs. Organs will have 3, 4, 5 keyboards, but it hadn't been done with pianos. Anyway, Zarembski was interested in it, and he mastered it as a way of performing, and also as a basis for exploring more advanced harmonies for composition. And so he played it there at the Grand Exhibition in Paris, and it was a huge success. Then, and he was then appointed to be a professor at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, professor of piano. But by 1883, his tuberculosis, which is like a permanent chronic condition, had gotten so bad that he had to stop performing, and 2 years later, he was dead. But what they say is that if you want to know what his work was really like, it is best summed up in his piano quintet in G minor, which you can hear on Thursday, free of charge, on the Chopin Institute live stream at 8:30 European time, 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time, and 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast. Worth tuning into to discover a genius who died before his time. Also on Thursday night, if that does not tempt you, Stage Plus is live streaming from the Salzburg Festival, a performance of Berlioz's Symphonie fantastique by the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra under conductor Yannick Nézet-Séguin. If you love Berlioz, it's a great one to hear. It's a 5-movement, revolutionary type of piece of music, which really freed up orchestral music for making a lot of changes after that. It's and if you don't know Berlioz's Symphonie fantastique, it is certainly something to discover. So you have a tough choice there. Personally, I would tune into Zdravetsky because you will have other occasions to hear Berlioz, but it's rare that you will have an occasion to hear Zarembski. So then we move on from Thursday night to Friday. Friday, Composers Concordance has another live stream on their Facebook page at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, 1 in the morning in Europe, and 9 in the morning on Saturday in Australia. This is a series of new pieces by various composers whom you don't know: Dennis Batory-Kitts, David Gunn, Craig Pallet, also by Machiko Ozawa and Gene Pritsky, who were featured in the earlier concert on Tuesday. So I won't go through all the details. We have given you the link as to how you go to find that. What I will tell you about this is that it includes things like arrangements of Moonlight in Vermont. It includes 2 compositions based on poems by Robert Ford. One is called Moonlight, a baseball poem, and one is called Maple Syrup, a baseball poem, with music by Gene Pritzker. So, look, this is fresh. This is new. This doesn't cost you anything. You have nothing to lose by checking it out and finding out what these crazy people are doing up in Vermont. After that, we move on to the Chopin Music Festival again with something that I would say, you don't want to miss. It's on the program. The conductor is Jerzy Maksymiuk, who is an institution in Poland. He was born in 1936. He's 88 years old. He's still conducting. He's still composing. He's still out there, and he's won just about every honor that a Polish musician can win. The program starts with 2 pieces which he wrote. One of them is called in English "Leaves Falling Here and There." The other one is called "In the Garden of Emotions." Both of these pieces are for piano and chamber orchestra, and playing the piano is Janusz Olejniczak, who himself is another institution. Born in 1952, won the Friedrich Chopin International Competition when he was only 17 years old in 1970, and just went on to become a fixture in Polish musical society, and also to appear in television programs and films in which he would, as an actor, playing for instance, Chopin in one of them. So both of these, this is a chance to experience a performance by two major figures in Polish musical history over the years. I want to show you a picture of the two of them because there's Maksymiuk on the left and Olejniczak on the right. If you tune in to see them, you're gonna, these men incarnate something of Polish history. And I wanted to give you a brief look at some of these others that we've talked about already. Here are here's Machiko Ozawa and Jay Jeffryes of Tango Prism, which you'll hear on Tuesday night. Then on Wednesday, here's the Cavani string quartet, which you can hear on Wednesday night, and then on Thursday hills there's the Belcea quartet is the next one that you get to hear. So the hits just keep on coming here. Do we have anything more for me to bring you up to date on? Yes, and then also on this is on Sunday. This is also on Sunday, but Sunday in the United States. So it'll be like 6-7 hours later. Constellation Chicago is live streaming a concert by the Varo string quartet, which is a relatively new string quartet, and the Ritual Action Reed Trio. The Constellation's Chicago's mission is to promote progressive performance and forward-thinking music, including jazz, improvisation, and contemporary classical music. In the first set is being played by the Ritual Action Reed Trio. This is an oboist, clarinet, and bassoon. They got together in 2017 as alumni of the Lucerne Festival Academy that was founded by Pierre Boulez, and decided they wanted to commission new works for these reed instruments. So they'll be playing works by Ethan Dimmitt, Sam Kinney, Zeynep Gedizlioglu, Andrei Skorobatuk, and Ruth Crawford Seeger. And if you haven't heard of any of them, neither have I. This is new. This is fresh. This is young. I have a picture of them too. And I have a couple pictures. There's the Varo string quartet in the upper right-hand corner, and then down below is the three guys in the Ritual Action Trio. And then there's Molly. There's Molly Bendrick there, and in the second set, Molly and the Varo string quartet are going to do the world premiere of a new piece by Chris Bendrick, whom I assume has a relationship to Molly, and it's called "What It Means to Fall Apart." Okay, now I got to tell you, let me read you this. This is from Chris Bendrick's website, so you know what you're in for. Christopher Bendrick's compositions explore a balance between the seriousness of interpersonal vulnerability and the levity of absurdism. He asked his performers to create complex sounds with flailing gestures, while his electronic music works with shaping harsh noise aggregation, which he intends to grate against the comfort level of his audience. Many of his pieces deal with feelings of interpersonal discomfort and vulnerability that result from encroaching existential dread. His use of absurdism creates darkly whimsical and nonsensical narratives that bring lightheartedness to an otherwise dismal aesthetic. So that's what the Varo string quartet is going to be playing. As I said, they're a fairly new string quartet. Their members have played with such diverse groups as the Milwaukee Symphony, the Japanese Breakfast, the Thurman Barker and KG Bird Orchestra, the Chicago Sinfonietta. Like I said, this is new. This is young. This is vibrant. It can't all be Brahms and Mozart and Haydn and Schubert and Shostakovich. And although I love all those things, I mean, the new comes from this. We're at 20 minutes here. I'm sorry I couldn't get it done sooner, but there was so much to tell you about. We just want to remind you, follow us on Facebook, especially if you can, and or especially on YouTube. We have not pushed getting new followers as much as we ought to, and we would really love to build up some followers there. Our goal is to bring together as many people as possible out of the enormous number of people who love the performing arts in this world and get them to be enjoying these online live streams, which, as you see, we're having more and more virtually every week. I have more to report on. And if you like what we're doing, please repost any of our posts that you see, and to your friends who may also love the performing arts, so they get a chance to enjoy this. And because the more of us who enjoy these live streams, the more of them there will be, and then everybody wins. So have a great week. Be sure to say hello in the comments box on YouTube if you go to any of these Chopin Institute or other YouTube live